Well, all right. So we have Japan coming up this week. We have some things to talk about. And I said I was going to talk about this in regards to Red Bull. The quote I use, the definition I use of insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. This weekend, I believe the outcome will have articles of evidence to prove a stronger case for what I've been talking about. And that is maybe Red Bull is the problem. All right. Now, I'm going to say this. What's up, Galactus in the live chat? I said this before. I said this 2 seasons ago, and I said it last season, that Red Bull has a challenge, what's up, Mary Beanie, to prove to us that they can break through the ceiling that they have already set for themselves. And that was with Sebastian Vettel, 4-time champion, back-to-back. And that was it. It had already been done. People act like it was the best thing smoking when Max Verstappen did it. Sebastian Vettel did it. He did it younger. He did it before Max. The thing was, can Max break through 4? Can Red Bull break through 4? What's up, Duchess Holland? Baraka, what's up, Baraka? I see you, brother. And I said this. And at this point in time, it's looking like I could technically have a Classic 2, which is eventually right. Okay? I mean, actually, it would be a Classic 1 exactly right. Because if this season Max Verstappen does not win a driver's championship, I was exactly right when I told you all I don't think that they can break through 4 because history has shown that's where they've hit their head is on 4 championships. Now, here's my other part as far as Red Bull's concerned. A couple of things have walked out of the door, and this is my thing with people. And people don't stay consistent, and especially people that always try to throw things and insults and personal attacks when you talk about Max Verstappen, right? The thing that people said clearly was Max is the greatest driver, and the greatest driver can do a lot more with less. He doesn't have less in perspective of all the teams. He's got maybe a little less within this team. All right? The back half of the season showed that you all were wrong. And I told you then, if Max's back half of the season is the same at the start of this new season, he will not be a driver's champion. This is what I said. Right now, it's looking pretty much. We're about to be round 3. Max hasn't won a race. Remember, you're coming from an era, a time where 25 seconds, 20 seconds, Max is the GOAT. Max is this. Well, hold on. I got to ask you a question. So is Max no longer the GOAT because he's not winning by 20 seconds? Or is Max a driver that can't do a lot more with less? Because I need to know which one it is. Because you put him in a super duper category as if he was a superhero. Super Max is what y'all call him. So it can only be a couple of things. Either Max is not the GOAT, or he can't do more with less. Incredible Fast Quest says Red Bull has always been the problem in the Max area. And this is what Max has been a problem too. I agree. True. So I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to try to change their position. They doing what we call in America backstroking. You backstroking now. Because it was told to us also by Helmut Marko, Max could put an AlphaTauri or a Haas on pole. If you can do that, then surely you should still be winning races in the RB21. Because the RB21 right now is killing a Haas and an AlphaTauri. So you should still be winning races. So either Max is not this GOAT they propped him up to be, or can't do more with less. You can't have it both ways. And so what you're starting to see now is people try to take different positions and come with all this. But outside of Max Verstappen, because I've always said he's a good driver. He even drives great at times. But I also told you all, you can't criticize Lewis Hamilton for having a good car and doing great things and then say, oh, he ain't great, he not the GOAT. But then Max doesn't do crap in his career until he gets a very dominant car, one of the most dominant cars in F1 history. And all of a sudden it's just Max, it ain't the car. But with Lewis Hamilton, it was the car. It wasn't Lewis.
But now that the car's not there for Max, Max is not winning. It's, he dragging the fourth slowest car in. Come on, man. Y'all can't. I mean, that's stupid. It's completely idiotic to have that type of mindset. It is ridiculous. So Lewis Hamilton not the GOAT, but Max is the GOAT. But now that Max is not winning, he the GOAT because come on, man. It's stupid. It is completely stupid. I laugh at these people in the comment section. I laugh at these people when they say these things. It's like, do you even listen to what you say? Like, take the names off, put your two sentences together and see if it actually makes sense to you. But my thing is also this, and this is why I say, I've always said this. You need the car, the team, and the driver. It's a trifecta. It's a unison, a harmonious balance of team, driver, performance, development. You need it all to be that dominant in the sport of Formula One. But if you're not that dominant in the sport of Formula One, you know what you need? You need one hell of a driver. Lewis Hamilton has not always had the fastest and best car on the track. This is not true. Max doesn't now. And nothing saying that he's not doing good and managing the situation at hand. But when you oversell it, it comes off as ridiculous. So Red Bull lost Adrian Newey, White Iverson in the house. I see you Red Bull and fans always move the goalposts, bro. They're the worst. They are literally, I'm talking about literally, they are literally the worst nightmare for a field goal kicker. Red Bull fans are a field goal kicker's nightmare. It's like going to sleep trying to kick a field goal and the field goal just has legs and keeps moving. That's what they are. Some of them. Let me not lump everybody into that as if it's everybody, because all Red Bull fans and even some Max fans don't do that, but a lot of them do. A lot of them do is crazy. So yeah. I'm telling you, a lot of them do. Is absolutely ridiculous. But yes. So when we come down to this whole situation with Red Bull, and I say this, my problem with Red Bull is Red Bull are likely the problem. And why I say this is because of this. And I told you all, to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result is insanity. That's insanity. That is the pure definition of insanity. And right now, I'm going to point out that, incredible facts course, I see you, not only Max, but Fernando. Yes, Fernando Alonso as well, my brother. My apologies for missing your chat on that, because you're absolutely right. Fernando Alonso, for some reason, he got a participation trophy for showing up and breaking the same record as far as attendance. But Lewis Hamilton, he needs to leave the sport. You're absolutely right. It's crazy how they also do that for, Alonso. He's still in the sport, and nobody's trying to cast him out. Nobody's trying to push him out the door, but Lewis Hamilton got to go. It's crazy too. So let's look at this. Let's just take a look at this list. All right. We got Kvyat. We got Ricciardo. We had Albon and Gasly. We had Perez, which was the better performing driver out of the bunch that stayed at least for more than a few seasons. Ricciardo was the other better performing driver who outperformed Max Verstappen, I think 2 out of some seasons, or some seasons while he was there. And then we had Lawson, and now we got Yuki. So that's Kvyat, Ricciardo, Albon, Gasly, Perez, Lawson, Yuki. That is 7 drivers. That is 7 drivers, 7 teammates, while you have literally been in Red Bull for this short stint. 7 teammates. So out of all of those teammates, even though Perez, the better performing of the 7 within that stint, you have them reporting or expressing the same experience. The car is so heavily developed to only Max Verstappen's driving style that it technically is a car that we can't get a hold of. Now, that does go both ways. I will say that maybe that does say something to you as a driver that you can't adapt and modify, but let's keep it real. Everybody has a driving style, and we've seen teams go backwards in car evolution in a season, and drivers do better. Perez was one of them. When they started off, the car was not as front end happy. It wasn't as pointy, okay?
It was more of an understeer car, and Perez was doing good. But then what happened? Red Bull developed the car. It went more to Max wasn't doing as good. Now we swing the car to be more pointy, and now Max is doing well, and Perez's performance fell off. Well, how many times are you going to keep doing that? Because it's clearly obvious that you don't want to put a driver next to Max Verstappen that really does share and have his driving quality or style, because you don't want to ruin the fragile mind state of Max Verstappen. And I'm going to get into why I think Max Verstappen is a little bit, as some people would like to say, snowflake fragile than most people would believe. Okay. So I understand this whole narrative. I understand this whole purist. I understand this whole, no, we can't do that. We have to develop the car this way. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. You don't have to. You want to. And I just got to ask you, do you want to keep losing? Because if you want to keep losing, stay with the mind frame that you and everybody share about, no, there's only one way to develop it. Go ahead and stay with that. Go ahead and see how that serves you within your environment. Because right now it's not working for you, Red Bull. It is not working for you. I hate to sound like I'm trying to promote Red Bull to do great things and be a better team, because I would like them to be a better team as far as their character, integrity, and values, but they're not, especially with Christian Horner at the helm and Helmut Marko always going off at the lip saying all these things, and when Red Bull Racing marketing team doing very racist and discriminating and racial tone advertisements. It would be better if they were a better team, and that I could feel comfortable with trying to promote them to do better on track, but they're not. But I am having to keep it real that if a team right now is underperforming, which they are, they're about to sit themselves in a position where they're going to be out of the Constructors' Championship sooner than later when it comes to midseason, which they are. They've decided to take Liam Lawson out of the seat after 2 rounds, which to me is very premature. Even though he's underperformed in these 2 rounds, I don't think that was enough time to allow him a body of work to kind of say, okay, that's enough. But right now they're on the fire. They're under the fire, and they're scrambling, trying to find something that is going to give them grip, not only in the Constructors' Championship, but hell, the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen has not won a race. This is not how most Max Verstappen and Red Bull fans have been accustomed to getting. They've been spoiled. Max Verstappen, it was so much clean last season. They thought Max Verstappen was going to win every race last season, and he didn't. More so toward the back half of the season, he didn't. He did not. They thought he was going to win every race in 2024. That is what we saw in the back half of 2024. He didn't damn near win anything sort of every race. And he's starting off the season, no races won right now. Not one event. Even Lewis Hamilton won a sprint race. Max Verstappen hasn't won anything. So there's 3 events Max Verstappen could have placed first in and won. He hasn't won any of them. Don't let just the 2 GPs stand up there. That's 3 events Max Verstappen has lost. He's lost. I don't even know if he made pole position. I forget if he even made pole position in these 3 events. I don't even think he's gotten that. McLaren's been up there. So now also we are starting to see more reports, are whether they're fake, right? Whether they're fake or maybe they're assumptions, we're starting to see more reports about, will Max Verstappen be with a different team? Even as ridiculous as Ferrari, which is more understandable about Aston Martin, given Honda's gone there, Adrian Newey's gone there, Max Verstappen's going to try to follow it up. But then that brings me to this. That brings me to this so-called banter that people were putting out there. Remember when Lewis Hamilton spent 3 seasons giving Mercedes the time and the grace of not only his life, but his career and his driving ability and talent? He invested all of that in Mercedes, hoping that they would get it right. That's what Lewis Hamilton did. That's loyalty. That's character. That's integrity. That's damn over the top. That's above and beyond. Incredible Facts Quest in the Super Chat says, so how can they even say he's great when he hasn't had any teammates to actually push it? Thank you. Never had it. He doesn't have one driver that's been a champion for a teammate. Not one ever. Matter of fact, he barely has any driver. He doesn't even have but one driver that's almost close to Valtteri Bottas, and that's only one of Lewis Hamilton's teammates. Lewis Hamilton has had several driving champions in their prime as teammates. Never has Max Verstappen had that. Very good point that I also share with you. Paul in the super chat says, what's up, fam? Hope everyone is well. Smash the like button, y'all. Peace and love. Peace and love to you too, Paul. Peace and love to you too, brother. Big love. So now, remember, Lewis Hamilton invested this, right? While people called him wash, while he was under fire of heavy criticism about his ability to remain in Formula One, while Alonso was still being praised about being in Formula One, but doing less than Lewis Hamilton, while Lewis Hamilton stayed as cautious and as cordial as he could, while his damn career was just falling away, while he stayed with a team who didn't really go to bat for him after the whole scandal in 2021 and several times throughout the rest of those seasons, while he was with a damn person in Toto who said he was his friend, who got on camera and said, I only promise not to talk to Max for Lewis, who got on camera and said many other things in the negative tone of the relationship. Lewis Hamilton weathered all that, still got in the car and drove and tried to do the best that he could with a pile of doo-doo. Now, is Max Verstappen going to do that? Let's say Red Bull is on the cusp of going through what Mercedes has been going through for about to be 4 seasons now. Is Max Verstappen, since y'all said he would do it better than Lewis Hamilton did in those situations, now we're about to see another situation if Max Verstappen is going to fail or not, because he's failed at anything that would have been said about being a Haas or AlphaTauri to pole. That's over with. He ain't even bringing an RB21 to pole position right now. And that car's still one of the fastest cars on track. We can skip the whole thing about Max Verstappen being a GOAT, just like Incredible Facts Question said, and I've said several times, how you going to be the GOAT? You never had a teammate to ever push you so. Every teammate they bring in there is supposed to be a signed second man that won't challenge you inside the team. That's why y'all didn't sign Carlos Sainz. That's why you didn't bring in Carlos Sainz, because you knew when Carlos came in, he was going to be the boss done daughter like he typically is, call shots. He's not going to sit here and listen, I'm going to be the second man, and that was going to be a problem. So you didn't bring him in. You brought Liam Lawson in. Now you had to kick Liam to the curb. Now you got Yuki in. So I just need to say, there's a lot of things that a lot of people said about Max Verstappen, this and that, and it's just falling away and melting. And now they're trying to move the goalpost, change position, tell you ain't stuff, tell you snowflake, tell you weak. And listen, bring me some facts or some stats that really equal up to that. They can't do that. So I need to know this next test that looks like it's coming Max Verstappen's way. Will he be with Red Bull for at least 2 to 3 seasons while they go through this rough spell? I don't think so. It doesn't seem like that to me, because we all agree where there's smoke, there's fire. And while we heard rumors of Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, we soon found out that it was true that Lewis Hamilton was going to Ferrari. We're starting to hear a lot of smoke, see a lot of smoke in the sky about Max Verstappen leaving Red Bull. But I thought y'all said he could do what Lewis could do. If that's the case, show us some of that GOAT mentality. Stick it out with Red Bull until they bounce back. Help your team bounce back, Max. Or are you going to jump ship like Fernando Alonso? Jump ship, jump ship, jump ship, jump ship, trying to find and chase you another championship. So I'm just saying, so far, I and others have been right. Paul in the super chat says, I thought Max could win in a Haas and an AlphaTauri, brother, till he can't. Right, till he can't. And he can't. He can't. He can't even win in an RB21 right now. That's still one of the fastest cars on the grid, and that's proven trap speed times and times. He's not in the 4th slowest car. I wish people would stop saying that crap. He's not in the 4th slowest car. He's still in one of the top 3, top 2 cars. So why is he not? Lewis Hamilton just won a sprint race. And I think we can all agree Ferrari ain't necessarily the top 3 fastest car out there. We know that. Lewis Hamilton just won a sprint race. Max Verstappen ain't won shit all season. 2, 3 events. A race, a sprint, a race. Max Verstappen hasn't won not one. So I'm just saying. So Lewis Hamilton, when y'all going to give Lewis Hamilton that credit?
Because Lewis Hamilton just won in a Ferrari. They're still struggling. They're changing up some things, but he still pole positioned the sprint and then won the sprint. Max Verstappen was on track. He didn't do none of that. So I guess you got to start taking your words back that Lewis Hamilton is really the GOAT, really a better driver, and completely not washed. Because I noticed when that happened, they got really, really quiet. I'm just saying all these tests are coming Max's way, and we're going to really see. Is he going to be anything of whatever you all tried to sell us? Because if he is, that means Max should be, hey, you know what? My team, we're going through some things right now, but we will work it out. We will find out what's going on. And I think it also says something because I do remember that there was a narrative out there, and it was almost somewhat still kind of a racial tone narrative, that Lewis Hamilton was not a better driver at providing feedback for his team than Max Verstappen. Well, I heard that they want to bring Yuki in to try to get some feedback from Yuki on the car. Max Verstappen ain't enough? If that's the case, Max Verstappen ought to be in the room giving them all this feedback on how to develop this car. He's not. He's not. Adrian Newey walked out the door. Another critical opponent walked out the door. And now they are right here. Max Verstappen should be in the lab helping them figure all this out. So I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. These are just facts that are happening. Y'all told us that he was all of this. And now every time we get a checkpoint, it's like, okay, we can't check that off. Here comes another checkpoint. Okay, we can't check that off. Okay, can he still win in the top 3 fastest car? Nope, we can't check that off. Now it's, will he stick it out with his team for more than 2 or 3 years and risk his career and his ability to try to make sure he sticks with a team that's done great for him? Can we check that off? Can we check that off? Can we finally bring in a driving champion that we know can drive next to Max Verstappen? Can we do that? Because I'm going to say this. If Yuki goes into Japan this weekend and Yuki does worse in the RB21 than he was doing in the V-Carb, Red Bull, you're the problem. You're so Max-centric that you're handicapping yourself. If you don't have the most dominant car, Max Verstappen is not winning, at least on a consistent basis. Do I think Max Verstappen is going to go a whole season without winning? Hell no. No, I do not. You cannot get me to believe that Max Verstappen is not going to win a race this season. I wouldn't even bet on that. I'm just telling you, I'm keeping it a buck. I wouldn't even bet on that. I think he's going to win a race this season. You can't even get me to bet on, will Red Bull be down the whole season? I don't even believe that right now. I think, honestly, they might actually kind of bounce back. I think it's a possibility. But I also think it's looking possible that they won't. I also think it's looking possible that 5th Drivers' Championship is not coming. I also think it's possible that we start seeing some more rule changes and trying to hit everybody with these flexi wings when Red Bull, hell, you was the first one, really. You was one of the first with flexi wing opportunities. Y'all known for trying to exploit things. I think we start seeing some more petitions. I think we start seeing the FIA kind of trying to get in and jump in and control some narratives. I think that too. I'm just saying, it's looking hot out here in these streets for Max Verstappen and Red Bull. It's a lot of pressure. And let's not let this go over, Tone. We do know that there's been some rumors or some words spoken that Christian Horner has moved to try to get things suppressed about them taking these up to arbitration to upper like courts of the law as far as his Mr. Grabby Hands type situation. That's not over. That is not over. The Christian Horner situation, I don't think that's over. I think it's just not being handled within Formula One. I think it's actually in some real courts right now. I would not be surprised if we hear some reporting maybe later this season about this whole Christian Horner situation blowing back in their face. What up, Wolfpack family? What's going on? 083 in the super chat. What's happening? I won't be surprised about that, people. Don't be surprised if this happens. There is a lot of things brewing for Red Bull, and all I would say, looks like chickens have come home to roost. Looks like things are getting really bad around here in these streets. That's what I would say. No, I'm trying to say, like, hey, man, it ain't looking good. But anyway, guess what? Max might go into Japan. You know, one time, one time in Japan, what was it, 2020, was it 2023?
that he was declared the driver championship in Japan, or was it moved or something like that? Something happened with Charles Leclerc and the whole situation, but Max might go into Japan and he might ball out. I'm looking for it. I'm like, hey, there goes Max Verstappen. There go Red Bull getting that dominant car back together. Okay, now we got a whole season. Max back up in this thing. But I'm going to tell you what, it's a triple header coming up. A triple header coming up. How many of y'all think Max Verstappen in this triple header will win at least one or two races? Matter of fact, I'm going to poll that. We're going to poll that right now. We're going to poll that. We're about to poll that right now. I got to see what y'all think. Yeah, I'm going to see what y'all say. Here, you poll in the chat. Don't dance on it. Just vote on it. If you dance on it, make sure you get $1 or $2. Don't ever strip for free. I got to see what y'all think. I'm giving you 30 seconds. 30 seconds right now to get in on this poll. 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Then we're going to close it down. 30 seconds march right now. At 27, we'll close that poll. So it's possible I think he could win one of these races. But if he doesn't win one of these triple header races, yo, it's I ain't gonna be crying, but it's gonna be a lot of people crying. It's gonna be a lot of upset people. It's gonna be a lot less people in the comment section that talk foolery, though. I can say that. I ain't mad about that part. I laugh, but I ain't gonna be mad about it because I do get a nice laugh out of some of the dumb comments people make. It's ridiculous, but I will miss that. It's kind of funny, but I'm just saying, you got, hey, that's it. 30 seconds. Let's close this chat. Let's see what you got. And it says that, let's go. Where's the results? I mean, what's the results of the chat? There it goes. 58% say no, 41% say yes. I think that's about accurate. I think that's where I would be. I think it's kind of like, you can't count Max and Red Bull out completely. I just don't think. We've seen too many times where they go into a session, even Q1 to Q2 to Q3, and make some changes and make it happen. I also think that might be where part of their problem is. I think that they are in fear that they cannot develop a completely different philosophy of a car without Adrian Newey and confidently put it together. So much so that all they're trying to do is make changes, which is why the Red Bull car doesn't look that much different. They're just trying to make little changes, hoping that they can find some nugget of performance, and it'll all of a sudden become this very dominant car that it was before. I don't think Red Bull have the capability. I don't think they have the personnel in place. I don't think they have the ingenuity mind in place to do what Adrian Newey and the other people did for them that walked out of that door, which is what happens to championship teams, which is why Mercedes has to be credited for so much of their success that they did. 8-time world constructor consecutive championships. Lewis Hamilton doing what he did, winning all the championships, even with different teams. And if Lewis Hamilton wins a championship with Ferrari, just get ready for all the slander then. All the slander. But yes, Red Bull do have a problem. They got to stop doing the same thing over and over again. You've been through 7 drivers. 7 drivers likely have very similar, if not the same type of criticism about your car development. The only driver that has been strictly benefiting from that has been Max Verstappen. You cannot win a Constructors' Championship with just one driver. You need 2. So you should just start trying to figure it out and change things up. Just saying. We didn't see all the Super Max, so they got the most dominant car in damn near Formula One history. So I'm saying that's got to be a correlation or something. But either way it goes, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. We are in a race week leading into a race weekend. And tomorrow and the next day, we're going to be able to see qualifying, free practice, all of the good stuff. It's going to tell us a lot. Red Bull might be back on track. Yuki may be the missing component that they've been looking for so long and finally decided to give him a chance. Then again, Yuki might get in there and we see some of the same things that we've been seeing. 083 says, Jay, remember Adrian Newey did say before the season started that Red Bull was going down the wrong track with their car. You are correct. He did say that. You are very correct about that. Good bring up. Good one right there. That is true. I like good reference on that, man. So yeah, we're about to see what happens in this third round, this fourth event Max Verstappen is 0 for 3. Can he get one here out of the next 3? Maybe he ends up 2 and 6. Maybe more. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know what? Anyway, y'all step up. Y'all go ahead and get in the chat and talk it up with everybody and see how things go. Big shout out to 083 for the super chat and the reference right there. Big shout out to Paul in the super chat as well. I see you there, brother, always present. And big shout out to who else was in the super chat? Incredible Facts Quest. White Iverson was in the super chat as well. Big shout out for all those super chat and those questions and our statements or comments, because those were very good ones. And Paul said, smash the like, y'all. Appreciate you again, Paul, brother. I really do appreciate you, man. Definitely, man. So we will see what happens. We'll be here live. I'm gonna try to be here for qualifying. I even try to do a free practice, review. We will be live in Wolves Den this weekend as well, post the Japanese Grand Prix, to talk about Yuki Lawson and the results of that Grand Prix. So it's going to be a very good conversation in the Discord chat. I can't wait to hear what you all are going to say and what all is going to happen and how you feel about that. Other than that, Wolfpack out. I will see you soon. Peace and love. Be well.